There is a ritual so ancient, so secret, so full of spiritual power, that only the wisest rabbis of Kabbalah knew it. For centuries, this ritual was practiced in silence by Jewish families who prospered while the world around them crumbled. While empires fell, while economies collapsed, while wars devastated nations, these families remained protected, prosperous, abundant. Why? Because they knew the secret I'm about to reveal to you now. This ritual is not dependent on the economy. It is not dependent on the government. It is not dependent on luck or external circumstances. It activates a spiritual frequency that connects you directly to the infinite source of divine provision. It's like opening a celestial tap that never runs dry, no matter how dry the earth is around you. And the most incredible part? You can begin this ritual today, right now, with what you already have in your home. No money needed, no special objects needed, just you, your faith, and the ancestral knowledge that has been preserved for 3,000 years. But I need to tell you something important. This ritual requires commitment. It's not instant magic. It's a spiritual technology that reconnects you with the invisible laws of prosperity. And when you align yourself with these laws, the impossible becomes inevitable. Have you ever felt that no matter how hard you work, the money is never enough? That there's an invisible ceiling blocking your prosperity? That while others move forward, you remain stuck in the same place, struggling just to survive? If you answered yes, then this ritual was made especially for you. If something inside you is telling you that this message arrived at the exact moment you needed to hear it, subscribe to this channel now. We are gathering souls hungry for ancestral wisdom that transforms destinies. You were chosen to be here. In the book of Deuteronomy chapter 8 verse 18, it is written, "Remember the Lord your God, for it is He who gives you the ability to produce wealth." This is not a comforting phrase. It is a revelation of how the universe works. Prosperity does not come from your effort alone. It comes from a spiritual force that the Eternal One places within you. The wise Kabbalists discovered that there is a specific ritual that activates this force. They called it Ma'aser Shel Bracha, the tithe of blessing. But this is not the tithe you know. This is a complete ritual involving intention, sacred time, words of power and physical action that creates an energetic circuit between you and heaven. The Torah teaches that when the Israelites entered the Promised Land, the first thing they did was set aside the first portion of everything they harvested. Not the last. Not what was left over. The first. And this first portion was offered to the Eternal with gratitude and faith. What happened after that? The harvests multiplied supernaturally. The vineyards produced beyond expectations. The flocks multiplied. The land literally flowed with milk and honey. Why? Because this ritual activates the law of first fruits. When you honor God with the first, He multiplies the rest. It's a spiritual law as real as gravity, and it still works today. There is a fundamental difference between giving out of obligation and giving out of spiritual activation. Most people who tithe do so mechanically. They put the money in the church box and expect something magical to happen, but nothing changes. Why? Because they have lost the most important component. Kavanah. The sacred intention. The ancient ritual of first fruits is not about money. It's about acknowledging the source. It's about declaring, everything I have comes from the Eternal. I am not the source. He is the source. And when I honor the source honors me in return. Here's the profound secret. When you set aside the first portion of anything you receive, your salary, a gift, even food, and offer it to the Eternal with a grateful heart, you are creating a spiritual vacuum. And nature detests vacuums. The universe immediately begins to fill that vacuum with more provision. It's an automatic law. You don't need to beg. You just need to activate it. Kabbalists teach that there are 50 gates of blessing in heaven. 49 of them are accessible through prayer, fasting, and good deeds. But the 50th gate, the most powerful of all, opens only through the ritual of first fruits. This gate releases blessings that defy all natural logic. Here's how you perform the complete ritual. Pay attention to every detail because every detail has spiritual significance. First, the moment you receive any income, salary, paycheck, cash gift. Don't spend any of it yet. Not a single cent. Go to a private place in your home. It could be your room. It could be a quiet corner. The important thing is that you are alone with God. Second, hold the money in your hands. All of it. Look at it and say aloud, "Blessed be the Eternal One who gave me the strength to acquire this wealth. Everything comes from you. Everything belongs to you. I am merely a steward of your blessings. Third, set aside 10%. If you earned 1,000, set aside 100. If you earned 100, set aside 10. The amount doesn't matter. The proportion matters. 10% is the number of spiritual completeness. It is the sacred tithe that opens the gates of heaven. Fourth, hold those 10% in both hands, raising them high, and recite this prayer with all your heart. Eternal Creator of heaven and earth, I honor you with the first fruits of my labor. Just as Abraham gave tithes to Melchizedek, just as Jacob consecrated the 10th part, I now activate the law of first fruits upon my life. May this act of faith open the windows of heaven and pour out upon me immeasurable blessing, not only for me, but so that I may be a channel of blessing to others. In your holy name, amen. Fifth, donate this money. It can be to a charity, to help someone in need, or to your faith community. The important thing is that you donate with joy, not with sorrow. If you give complaining, you block the circuit. But if you give with a smile, knowing that you are planting a spiritual seed, heaven moves in your favor. Here's something few people know. The timing of this ritual is crucial. You must perform the ritual of first fruits immediately after receiving your income. Don't wait until the end of the month. Don't wait until the bills are paid. Do it first. Always first. Why? Because when you do it first, you are sending a powerful message to the universe. I trust that the Eternal will take care of the rest. This declaration of faith activates angels of provision, literally. Kabbalah teaches that there are specific angels designated to bring prosperity to those who honor God with the first fruits. There is also a day of the week that amplifies the power of this ritual. The first day of the week, Sunday. This is the day of creation, the day God said, "Let there be light," and light appeared. When you perform the ritual of first fruits on Sunday, you are aligning your act of faith with the original creative energy of the universe. But it doesn't stop there. The Kabbalistic masters did something even more powerful. They performed the ritual in the early morning hours, before the sun had fully risen. At this time, called Amud HaShachar, the pillar of dawn, the heavens are most receptive. Prayers rise faster. Blessings descend with greater force. This is where the ritual becomes truly transformative. After making the offering of the first fruits, you do something that seems crazy but is incredibly powerful. You give thanks in advance for the blessings that have not yet arrived. You say, "Eternal One, I thank you for the prosperity that is already on its way. I thank you for the multiplication that has already begun in the spiritual world. I thank you for the doors that are opening at this very moment. I know that I have planted a holy seed, and I know that the harvest is certain. So I thank you now, even before seeing it with my physical eyes." This anticipatory gratitude is an advanced form of faith. It's not pretense, it's spiritual certainty. It's you declaring that the law of first fruits is as reliable as the law of gravity. You don't need to see the apple fall to know it will fall. Similarly, you don't need to see the blessing arrive to know it will arrive. Kabbalists call this emunah shleima, complete faith. And when you operate at this level of faith, you enter a dimension where miracles are normal, where supernatural provision is just your daily life. After planting the seed of the first fruits, you need to protect your harvest. There are negative spiritual forces that try to steal your blessings before they manifest. The wise call these forces klipot, spiritual shells that block the light. How do you protect your harvest? With 3 powerful practices. First, keep quiet about the ritual. Don't go around telling everyone what you did. Humility protects the blessing. Arrogance repels it. Perform your ritual in secret. Let God reward you publicly. Second, maintain a cheerful, expectant attitude. Don't be anxious. Don't frantically check your bank account every day. Trust the process. Water your seed with peace and patience. Third, continue being generous. Don't stop giving after the first time. Make this ritual a way of life. Every time you receive, honor the first fruits, and watch how your life transforms into a constant river of provision. The unemployed man. Carlos was 38 years old and had been unemployed for 11 months. His savings were gone. He was about to lose his apartment. Depression was consuming him. One day, a friend told him about the ritual of giving birth to first fruits. Carlos thought, "But I have no income. How am I going to do that?" So he decided to do something radical. He took the last 50 reais he had and set aside 5. He went to a square where there were homeless people and gave the money to a man who was begging. While handing it over, Carlos recited the prayer of first fruits with tears in his eyes. 3 days later, he received a call from a company where he had interviewed months before. They wanted to hire him immediately. The salary was double what he earned at his previous job. Carlos started working and, religiously, every payday, he performed the ritual of the first fruits. 6 months later, he had paid off all his debts. A year later, he had bought a car. 2 years later, he had put a down payment on a house. Carlos didn't prosper because the market improved. He prospered because he activated a spiritual law that works in any circumstance. The small businesswoman. Fernanda owned a small clothing store that was failing. Sales had dropped by 70%. She was considering closing down. A customer told her about the ritual of first fruits and said, "Try it. You have nothing to lose." Fernanda decided to perform the ritual not only with her personal money, but with the store's money as well. Every time she made a sale, she set aside 10% before anything else and donated it to charities. She did this with faith, even when the money was scarce. In the first week, nothing changed. In the second week, she had an unexpected sale of a large batch to a corporate client. In the third week, a local influencer posted about her store on social media, and sales exploded. Within 2 months, the store was making 3 times more money than before the crisis. But Fernanda didn't stop the ritual. She faithfully continued separating the first fruits of each sale, and her store became such a great success that she opened a second branch. Today she employs 12 people and is one of the most respected merchants in her city, all because she activated the spiritual law of first fruits. The family of the stolen inheritance. John and Mary had 3 children and had lost a family inheritance due to fraud. They were devastated. Decades of family wealth had vanished overnight. They filed a lawsuit, but the lawyers said it would be nearly impossible to recover anything. A rabbi visited their church and taught about the ritual of first fruits. John and Mary began to practice it faithfully. Even with little money, they set aside 10% and donated it with faith. They taught their children to do the same with their small allowances. 7 months later, completely unexpectedly, the judge in charge of the case decided to reopen the proceedings. New evidence appeared out of nowhere. The fraudsters were exposed. In an outcome no one anticipated, the family recovered not only the original inheritance but also received additional compensation for the damages. But the story doesn't end there. With the money recovered, João and Maria didn't stop the ritual. They continued honoring the first fruits, and in the following years, they invested wisely and multiplied their wealth extraordinarily. Today they have the resources to bless dozens of families, and they attribute it all to the ancient ritual that changed their destiny. I barely have enough money to survive. How am I supposed to give 10%? This is the most common objection, and I completely understand. But here's the truth that will set you free. You are poor precisely because you have never activated the law of first fruits. It's a cycle. You don't give because you don't have, and you don't have because you don't give. Someone needs to break this cycle, and that someone is you. Start with what you have. If you only have 10 reais, set one aside. If you only have food, set aside a portion and donate it to someone who is hungry. Size doesn't matter. Faith matters. When you plant with faith, even a tiny seed produces a gigantic tree. God isn't looking at the quantity, He's looking at the heart. What if I give it and nothing happens? This question reveals doubt, and doubt blocks blessing. But I'll tell you something, if you perform the ritual correctly, with genuine faith, something will happen. It may not be when you expect it to be, it may not be in the way you imagine, but spiritual law never fails. The problem is that many people perform the ritual once or twice and give up. But the wise ones taught, do it for 40 consecutive days. 40 is the number of complete transformation. If you faithfully do it for 40 days, you will see such clear changes that you will have no doubt that heaven is responding. Isn't that just religious superstition? No, that's spiritual law. There's a difference. Superstition is believing that an amulet will protect you. Spiritual law is understanding that the universe operates according to invisible principles established by the Creator. Gravity is a law. You don't see it, but it works. Similarly, the law of first fruits is real, even if you don't see the mechanism. And here is the proof. Why do so many people who practice this ritual prosper? Why so many testimonies of transformation? It's not a coincidence. It's spiritual cause and effect. Plant the seed, nurture it with faith, and you will reap, always. This is God's own promise recorded in the scriptures. There is an even deeper level to this ritual that few know. Kabbalists taught that when you perform the ritual of first fruits on the eve of Shabbat, Friday at dusk, the power multiplies sevenfold. Why? Because Shabbat is the day of complete blessing, and everything you plant before Shabbat grows with accelerated vigor. Here's how to do it. On Friday, before sunset, perform the complete ritual of first fruits. But add this prayer: Eternal One, just as you blessed the seventh day and sanctified it, bless this seed that I plant now. May it grow with the same strength that created the universe in 6 days. May it multiply like the manna that fell twofold on the eve of Shabbat. Amen. Then light a white candle and let it burn completely. This candle represents your faith burning brightly, your expectation shining, your prayer rising to heaven like incense. And prepare yourself, because when you combine the ritual of first fruits with the sacred energy of Shabbat, you dramatically accelerate the manifestation of blessings. Here is your sacred challenge. For the next 30 days, every time you receive any amount of money, salary, paycheck, gift, even coins found on the street, practice the ritual of first fruits. Set aside 10%. Pray with faith, give with joy, and record everything in a journal. Write down the date, the amount you received, the amount you set aside, and where you donated. After each ritual, write a line of anticipatory gratitude. I am grateful for the multiplication that is coming. On the 30th day, reread your journal. You will be amazed at how many unexpected blessings have appeared in your life. So come here and share your testimony, because your testimony will strengthen the faith of thousands of people who are going through what you went through. You will become a channel of hope. And when you become a channel, you never run dry. My beloved son, my beloved daughter, in this eternal moment, I raise my hands over you in the name of the Eternal, blessed be He. May the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, the God who multiplies seeds and transforms scarcity into abundance, pour upon you rivers of prosperity that never cease. May the sacred ritual of the first fruits be engraved in your heart and become part of your spiritual breath. May you never again know lack. May you never again know shame. May you never again wake up distressed, not knowing where tomorrow's bread will come from. Decree concerning you. Doors that have been closed for generations in your family are now opening. Sources of income you never imagined existed are being released at this very moment. Supernatural opportunities are being prepared by angelic hands, and you will walk on them soon. May your hands be hands of blessing. May your heart be a generous heart. May your home be a home of prosperity and peace. May your children inherit not only material wealth, but spiritual wisdom that no crisis can destroy. May you be like a tree planted by streams of water, which yields its fruit in its season and whose leaf does not wither. Whatever you do will prosper. This is the promise of the Eternal, and it is being fulfilled in your life now. I release upon you angels of provision, angels of opening doors, angels of divine multiplication. Wherever you pass, the desert will bloom. Wherever you touch, poverty will flee. Wherever you pray, the heavens will open and glory will descend. You are no longer a slave to circumstances. You are a child of the Most High, and children of the Most High do not beg. They reign. Shalom Aleichem. May the peace of the Eternal, the prosperity of heaven, and the protection of angels be with you today, tomorrow, and forever. Amen. Ve'amem.